Connie Francis, born Consetta Rosa Maria Franconero on December 12, 1937, in Newark, New Jersey, was the daughter of Italian immigrants who brought with them a deep respect for culture, tradition, and the American dream. Raised in a modest household in an ethnically diverse neighborhood, Connie was surrounded by music, family dinners, and the spirit of resilience. Her father, George Franconero Sr., a roofer by trade but a visionary by heart, was determined to see his daughter achieve greatness. He quickly noticed her affinity for music, and from the age of 4, she was performing at neighborhood events and talent shows, often with her beloved accordion in hand. Her mother, Ida, lovingly supported her daughter behind the scenes, helping with costumes and gently guiding her confidence. By the time she was a teenager, she was appearing on local television programs like Startime Kids, gaining attention for her poise, charm, and vocal talent. Recognizing the need for a more marketable stage name, she shortened her long Italian name to the smoother, more commercial Connie Francis. Despite her early talents, Connie's career did not take off immediately. Throughout the early 1950s, she recorded a string of singles that failed to chart. Her voice was often considered too traditional for the shifting pop landscape. Many in the industry doubted her potential, and even Connie herself began to lose faith. She supported herself through commercial work, even recording jingles for television ads, while waiting for her big break. However, her father remained her staunchest supporter. In 1958, he insisted that she record a song called Who's Sorry Now, a tune from the 1920s that he believed still had magic. Reluctant but obedient, she recorded it with little expectation. The track was played on Dick Clark's American Bandstand, and the response was electric. Almost overnight, Connie Francis became a household name. Who's Sorry Now shot up the charts, becoming her breakthrough hit and forever changing the course of her life and the music industry's view of female vocalists. The late 1950s and early 1960s were the golden years of Connie's career. She released a cascade of hits including Stupid Cupid, Lipstick on Your Collar, My Heart Has a Mind of Its Own, and Everybody's Somebody's Fool. In 1960, she became the first woman to reach No. 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Her popularity wasn't limited to the United States. Connie was a global sensation. She recorded songs in Italian, Spanish, German, Yiddish, Hebrew, French, and more, embracing her multicultural roots and building a worldwide fan base. She often said she felt a strong emotional connection to her Italian heritage and proudly recorded entire albums in her parents' native tongue. One of her most iconic songs, Where the Boys Are, became the theme of the film in which she also starred, marking her transition into acting and further expanding her celebrity. The film was a box office success and became an annual favorite, cementing her presence not just as a singer, but as a multi-talented entertainer. She also toured extensively during this time, performing across Europe, Latin America, and Asia, often greeted by adoring crowds and receiving standing ovations from audiences who didn't even speak her language but connected with her emotionally charged voice. Despite the applause and record sales, Connie's personal life was far more complicated than her polished public image suggested. She had a tumultuous romantic relationship with singer Bobby Darin, which ended in heartbreak reportedly because her father disapproved of him and chased him away at gunpoint. It was a decision Connie later described as one of her deepest regrets. She experienced multiple miscarriages and went through several failed marriages, including one that lasted only weeks. As a woman in the entertainment industry during the mid-20th century, she was often judged harshly for her personal life and expected to uphold a pristine public image. But nothing could have prepared her for the trauma that struck in 1974. After a performance in New York, Connie checked into a Howard Johnson's motel. That night, she was assaulted at knife point in her room. The emotional devastation that followed was immense. She withdrew from the public eye, suffering from post-traumatic stress, depression, and later being diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She underwent years of therapy and treatment, including electroconvulsive therapy, and at one point attempted suicide. It was a long and painful silence from a voice that had once been everywhere. During those difficult years, she lost her brother to a tragic act of violence, which deepened her sense of loss and loneliness. Despite the darkness, Connie did not remain silent forever. In the 1980s, she began to slowly return to public life. She sued the motel chain for inadequate security and won, marking a turning point in how hotels handled guest safety and accountability. She penned an honest and courageous autobiography titled Who's Sorry Now, where she spoke openly about her struggles, triumphs, and the price of fame. The book revealed a woman of astonishing vulnerability and strength, and it reconnected her with fans old and new. Her concerts became emotional reunions, filled with nostalgia and admiration. Her voice, though matured, still carried the emotion and authenticity that made her famous. Connie became not just a pop singer, but a symbol of survival and resilience, performing in prestigious venues, being honored with Lifetime Achievement Awards, and remaining a vocal advocate for mental health awareness. She became active in speaking engagements and partnered with organizations supporting trauma survivors. For many, her story was not just one of fame, but of overcoming unthinkable odds. She also returned to studio work, re-recording some of her old hits with new arrangements, and even dabbled in musical collaborations with younger artists who admired her legacy. Music documentaries and retrospectives began including her narrative more prominently, recognizing her role in paving the way for female artists in a male-dominated industry. Then came an unexpected chapter in 2025, a song Connie had recorded back in 1961 called Pretty Little Baby began to go viral on TikTok. With its dreamy melody, classic orchestration, and Connie's tender vocals, the song struck a chord with a generation born decades after it was recorded. Teenagers used it in nostalgic and aesthetic videos, while young couples made it their soundtrack for love montages. The song racked up billions of views and plays across social platforms. Even Connie was surprised, admitting in interviews that she had forgotten she had even recorded it. The resurgence of Pretty Little Baby led to a reissue of the track, renewed media attention, and an outpouring of love from fans around the globe. Music historians and critics revisited her discography, and a new wave of interest in her legacy surged forward. She gave a few heartfelt interviews via phone and video call, expressing both wonder and gratitude for the unexpected revival of her music. Young creators began remixing her voice into modern productions, introducing her to entirely new audiences who found her timeless. Documentaries began re-airing, and networks produced specials commemorating her influence. Students and musicologists began studying her vocal techniques and phrasing, recognizing her unique phrasing and emotive power. As younger fans dived into her back catalog, they discovered her lesser-known ballads and foreign-language recordings, which became streaming hits decades after their release. Sadly, just as the spotlight found her again, Connie's health took a downturn. In early July 2025, she was hospitalized due to severe pain stemming from a fractured hip. She had to cancel planned appearances and was moved from intensive care to a private hospital room. Her longtime fans and newly captivated followers held their breath, hoping she might recover once more. Despite hopes for a comeback, she passed away peacefully on July 16, 2025, at the age of 87. News of her passing spread quickly, and tributes flooded social media, radio stations, and television specials. Artists from all generations credited her as an influence. Music channels played marathon tributes, and her viral hit Pretty Little Baby once again filled the airwaves, now carrying the bittersweet weight of goodbye. Memorials were held in cities across the U.S., and international fans lit candles, shared old vinyls, and left heartfelt messages online. Some fan accounts even hosted live streams featuring full playlists of her greatest hits, while musicians posted covers of her songs in tribute. Major institutions like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Smithsonian, and Library of Congress paid homage with digital exhibits and photo perspectives. Connie Francis's life was not a fairy tale, but a deeply human story of talent, pain, perseverance, and remarkable strength. She opened doors for female pop artists, broke language barriers, survived unimaginable trauma, and redefined what it meant to make a comeback. Her story was one of cultural pride, familial tension, public adoration, and private heartbreak. From the little girl in Newark with an accordion to a global pop sensation who unknowingly captivated TikTok in her 80s, Connie Francis proved that true artistry endures. Her voice was more than music, it was memory, emotion, and the sound of strength itself. She embodied the enduring spirit of women in entertainment who, despite challenges and limitations, carved their names into history. And in every note of Pretty Little Baby, we are reminded that the music never really ends, it just waits to be heard again. Her journey continues through the echoes of her songs, forever a part of the world's soundtrack, and a shining light for those who dream, sing, and survive.